and welcome to the Nerd Age Podcast. This is the show where we talk about everything nerdy. My name is Jonah, and I'm joined by Corey.
Hey, what's up?
And Josh.
What's up?
And the heater just turned on.
That's right.
That's
go.
right.
We're keeping warm over here.
It's
Exactly.
cold. It's cold up in here, dude.
Yeah.
It is. It's you can cut
Wintertime.
glass. You can cut glass here.
You can if you'd like.
We're going to jump right into Blast or Trash. This is where we discuss trailers that released, and we'll let you know if we think it's going to be a blast to go watch or if we think it's absolutely trash. So, first one we got coming up here, let's just do Avatar, The Last Airbender, Netflix live action. This is the second trailer we've gotten. I'm going to start with Corey because you last trailer we got, you weren't that excited about it. You it looks okay, but you were a little nervous. So what do you think about this one?
The last one wasn't like a full trailer. Like this one, you saw way more developed effects and kind of like you can see how the people fit in the scenes and stuff like that. And so I thought it looked a lot better. I'm kind of on the fence. I posted on Twitter. I was like, is this going to be good? Like, because I'm leaning towards it might be good. Like before, I didn't think there was really a chance just because of the history of adaptations. They're just tough to do, especially with cartoons and cartoony characters. It's just tough. But One Piece did a pretty good job, and then I saw the effects and how the whole look of it was, and we heard some voice lines and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it kind of worked. I have a better outlook on it. So if I have to be locked into a blast, then I will go into a blast.
Nice. Josh, what do you think of the trailer?
Listen, I'm not even going to mess around. We're blasting off right away. You know what I'm saying?
You were already on the train. Now you're just on first class.
We're blasting off. Okay.
Yeah.
Majority.
Sure. Yeah. So I think it looks good. I agree with you. It's like, is this going to be good? Because you never know. Netflix is a mixed bag with adaptations.
Yeah.
The original creators left due to creative differences.
Yeah.
That's always concerning. But as far as what they've shown, I think all the characters look good.
Yeah.
But even and it's hard to capture the goofy essence of Avatar. You know what I'm saying? And Sokka is a pretty goofy dude. But I think the actor that they got is
no,
he nailed it.
He nailed it on that.
And him eating that cabbage, I was like, hey, the way he ate that cabbage,
dude.
I'm like, okay, you nailed it.
Exact thing, like his line delivery,
it was very cartoony.
His line delivery, and then his chomp. I was like, you look like a cartoon.
Everyone's got to be on the same page, right? Everyone has to act like their character if you're going to do that. So I'm concerned about is it Zuko? Who's the bad guy?
Zuko.
Yeah, Zuko. Concerned about him a little bit to see how he's going to come off because I could see him coming off as whiny, which there's some, there's parts
he is
of
kind of
original,
spoiled. Yeah. He's got the spoiled
so
aspect of it.
sometimes that doesn't translate very well, in my opinion. Instead of being like, oh, I don't like him, it's more like, oh, he's so annoying.
Yeah.
Like it could come off that way. Also, I don't know if you guys kind of looked at him, but it looked like was very evident that he had a bald cap on. Like it looked like a bit of a bulge at the top of his head. Look at the poster and tell me what you think. But I mean, that's what they have to do.
Yeah.
But what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a blast for me. Like we've already said, it looks good. The element bending, the fire bending, the water bending, all that stuff looks really good. Like you guys said, all the actors and all the characters, I'm like, oh, they all look like the characters. I mean, the Fire Lord, he looks fire with his shirt off. I mean, come on, let's go. Jin from Lost, let's go.
Yeah, he's ripped.
Everything looked faithful to the cartoons. Even the one scene where he's riding the wind gust thing or wind ball thing, that was that's exactly from the
straight
cartoons.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
Will the story translate? Will the acting translate?
That's gonna be. I think the acting from the trailers, there wasn't a moment where I was like, that's a bad line delivery. So to me, it's like it all seemed. Of course, they're gonna pick the best lines for a trailer,
right?
But from what I've seen, I liked it. That's the biggest concern. Will the story? Because there's something that when the original creators leave because there's creative differences. Well, then what are they butting heads on?
Right.
What
was the issue?
And
we might see
this could be. What if it? Now, there's two ways this could go. the one way is Netflix was like, let's do something completely different.
Do our own thing.
Right?
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we're going to leave. Or the original creators were like, hey, we want to change things. We want it to be different. Because they have done The Legend of Korra and they have gone a different way on some of those things. So maybe they were like, hey, let's use this to do something different. If those were the creative differences and that's why they left, then I'm like, okay, Netflix, you got it. But that's going to be the big thing we got to wait to see, is once it starts coming out and the story comes in, what's the thing that broke that relationship? It'll be interesting to see.
We're going to find out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe Netflix was like, this has to be a straight up adaptation.
Shot by shot.
No change, nothing. Give the people what they want.
Exactly.
And they were like, no, we want to expand a little bit. You know?
It might be.
It's like
usually it's the other way around, though.
I know, but it's like musicians. You know, like when bands are like, "Hey, we've done this 5 albums the same. We're going to do a completely different style," and the fans are like, "No, don't do it."
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's what they wanted. They were like, "Hey, we want to do a little different flavor." We were inspired by M. Night Shyamalan version. I want to do our own. So yeah, Avatar. We're giving it a blast. Yeah. Next thing we're moving on to is The Bad Batch season 3. This shockingly was not on any one of our lists for most anticipated. I thought it was going to come later in the year, so I was like, I'm not going to worry about it. It's coming out February 21st, which is right around the corner, and it's the final season. Josh, what did you think of the trailer?
It was awesome. What can I say? It looked great. I'm regretting not putting it on my top 10, to be honest.
It's going to be a banger.
I feel like Bad Batch is kind of underrated. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't come to like the top of my mind when I'm like, oh, Bad Batch, I'm so excited. But every season has gotten better. Yeah. And in each season, there's like great Star Wars moments. Like when I watched this trailer, I just started thinking about the season 1 and season 2. And I was like, man, there's some awesome moments in that show. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this season. Should have put it on my top 10, and it's a blast.
I think it's man. You can ask my wife. You guys know too. I just have the worst memory. But if you really think about it, like I really have the worst memory. If you think about it, when we were talking about like season 2, and like we were talking about what might happen, like I was actually pretty accurate. I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna get. What's her name? Not Alpha. Omega. And that's going to be an interesting aspect of, and that's what happened. And so it's like, this is like the culmination of everything they've been building up to. This is the most epic season, and it has the highest risk and weight to it.
Yeah.
So seeing the trailer reminded me, I was like, gosh dang it, yep, this is going to be good. But the problem is like when I'm trying to remember of what's going to be good in the year, like I don't have the memory for it. And also it's not really mainstream, in my opinion. It's kind of a secondary, like you got to be a fan of Star Wars and then you got to be a fan of like Clone Wars. Yeah. And then you know what Bad Batch is and then you enjoy it. But I think it's going to be a blast for sure. Yeah.
I'm going to press the button right now because.
Oh, what a blast.
Trailer was awesome. The music, the Kiner brothers doing the music. Again, the animation just looks better and better every time.
It looks like it's just maturing.
It's like every season, it's like, man, this animation looks really good. And it always tops the last season. I think some of the coolest moments in the trailer were just kind of the aspects of Star Wars that you're like, okay, they drop in Palpatine, and you know there's something going on with Tantus and the cloning and all this kind of stuff. So, like, you know there's bigger things in the Star Wars world that are going to be discussed in this season, not just like, hey, we're going to go get Omega, and then that's it. It's like, no, they're setting stuff up not only for this season, but I'm like, it's going to lead into the Mando universe, all that kind of stuff.
But it also leads to Palpatine. Like, you see Palpatine in the trailer, and it's like, there's way more stuff about the cloning, and like, a lot of things are going to be revealed in this.
And they're trying to, what they're going to do is they're trying to connect the sequel trilogy and how somehow Palpatine returned. They're trying to be like, hey, we're going to have a bunch of stuff that comes out that's going to connect those dots. And I'm all for it because I think it's a good way to do it. We have to talk about, obviously we've already said it's a blast, but we do need to discuss the big kind of reveal at the end of this trailer, which was Asajj Ventress showing up, which we talked about this off cast. we got chills when we heard her voice. This is awesome. I think it's another great example of Dave Filoni bringing in a character that people weren't really expecting to show up, and a character that a lot of people, like Corey, you said, fans of Clone Wars that are kind of in this universe of animated Star Wars, they love that character. Yeah. And so that's a really cool thing. What do you guys think of that introduction to the character? There's been a lot of like people that read Dark Disciple and was like, they're retconning the book, which is not true.
Interesting.
We'll get to that in a sec. But what do you guys think, just your initial reaction to Asajj Ventress showing up in this trailer and in the final season?
For me, I forgot about Ventress, honestly. But when I saw her, I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, if they're featuring her in the trailer, it's not just a little one-off episode. It's she's going to be there for multiple episodes, which makes me super excited. Because you guys know me. One of the things that I don't like about Bad Batch is that they don't have any Force users, kind of, basically. I love it when there are Force users, so I really enjoy that. And so this just gets me pumped. Nice. It was good timing, good music, good sound design in the trailer. Good trailers are pretty easy to make to kind of like pull
Get you pumped.
The goosebumps. Yeah, but that was epic.
Yeah, no, I was super like you said, as soon as I heard the voice, I was like, oh, dang, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And as far as the drama of like, Crystal said she saw somewhere that they were like, this is Dave Filoni bringing back his little characters to play in his little world. I was like, yeah, the freaking characters he created. Yeah, of course he's doing that. But I mean, I honestly am not upset about it. Filoni brought Darth Maul back and gave him spider legs.
They brought Palpatine back. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I would say that's more of a crazy thing to do.
And so I'm not even sure whether or not maybe it's a flashback. You know what I mean?
No. I'll explain exactly what's happening here.
Okay.
You guys ready? So, spoilers for Dark Disciple if you haven't read that book. So Dark Disciple was a book that came out that was an arc or episodes from the final Clone Wars season that they thought they weren't going to make. They put it into a book.
Yeah.
And so basically what it is Asajj Ventress kind of gets redeemed. She falls in love with Quinlan Vos, and they together go and try to kill Palpatine. And so she dies at the end of that book. But the last page of that book basically tells you
lol JK.
No, it says so this is what happens.
Obi-Wan and Bad Batch.
Obi-Wan and Quinlan Vos take her body to Dathomir, and they leave her body in a pool of Night Sister magic, is what it says. That's how the book ends, where her body is left on Dathomir, where there's Night Sister energy in a pool.
AKA,
and I'm like,
do whatever you want.
Well, no, but I'm like, Dathomir is a place where in the Star Wars universe, we've had people be resurrected. Like,
right.
This is this whole thing. We just saw this whole thing in Ahsoka with the Night Sisters and them bringing coffins back to Dathomir to have them be resurrected. So I'm just like, that's exact. Like, to me, it's like, come on. If there's one group of people that are known for resurrection and like bringing characters back from the dead, it's the Night Sisters on Dathomir. She's a Night Sister. So to me, it's just kind of like, that's what it is. Like, it's either that or she's a clone.
I can understand why people are a little irked about it, though. I get it. Because it's a mechanic that basically he invented. And this is fine. I love Dave Filoni, but like, I get why people are irked by it. Because it's like, it's not a thing that was there before. It's something that he introduced.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand what they're mad about, but I would also say at the same time, like, Star Wars needs to grow.
Yeah.
If you want to get the younger generations into it and you want Star Wars to keep thriving, if you don't and you want it to just be closed off, I get it. Just be mad. Don't watch anything new. But like, things need to grow. And the fact that Dave Filoni is bringing all this like mystical aspects of the Force opens a lot of doors. And that's, for me, it makes me super excited. Like, why not add to Star Wars? Like, I don't.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is it would, for me, I guess it would be weird if it wasn't something that hasn't been introduced. But Dave Filoni's been introducing this since the Clone Wars and it's been around for years.
Yeah.
So to me, there's that aspect of, I know for like new people that maybe don't watch the shows, it's like, what's that? But I'm like, your perfect mention of like Maul being cut in half, surviving.
I will say, yeah, you're
Night
right.
Sisters bringing him back.
And also like Darth Plagueis, like the Legend of Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, that's true.
Is like the one thing that is canon.
Cheat death.
Cheating death. So I guess I'm not right. Yeah, it was kind of introduced, at least the aspect of extending or resurrecting. Yeah.
And the other thing that's an interesting tidbit is Resistance. There's a character in Resistance, the old lady that they find in the final season. Mm. Dave Filoni wanted to make that an old Asajj Ventress.
Oh,
that
really?
was the original plan.
Interesting.
And then he said no because he didn't want it to take away that character from the characters that they introduced in Resistance. But he had already been thinking about bringing her back. Typical even at that point.
Dave Filoni.
So I just think it's just he has ideas of where he wants these characters to go, and I think it's going to be awesome. And what do you guys think? Because we don't know if Quinlan Vos is dead. From what we got in Obi-Wan, he's running the underground Jedi tunnels.
The path.
Do we see him in the Bad Batch? This should be for.
I'm not doing our predictions yet. We're not doing
our predictions, but I'm just thinking. What's your right now? What do you What's the percentage there? I think it's a 70% chance.
I don't think he's showing up.
No. Okay.
Nah.
I feel like they've been teasing him in little things.
They have, but I think in comics, I think we get him in live action.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
In the Dave Filoni movie?
Yeah. Why not?
I would be down with that.
I'd give it like a 30% chance of happening.
In Bad Batch?
Yeah. I think it's
drop?
possible, though. Oh, 100%.
100% name drop?
100%.
Okay.
But I don't think he shows up.
My dear Quinlan.
My dear
Quinlan. That's better. Yeah, that's
been looking for him.
Oh gosh.
All right. That'll do it for Bad Batch. It's a blast. If you haven't seen that trailer, what are you doing listening to us? Go watch the trailer.
Unless you haven't seen season 2. Because there's a spoiler in the...
Oh, that is true.
So I know someone that was like...
I already spoiled it.
That hadn't seen it. Oh, no, I don't think you did.
Well, the one character that shows up, some people are saying is him. There's a character that has a completely different like stormtrooper outfit than everyone else.
We already saw them though.
I thought the guy in all black. He's different. He's like gray and he has like you just see him real quick and he's standing in front of a bunch of other stormtroopers and people are like, "Who's that character?" And like, could that be?
Nah.
What are you guys talking about?
I don't think.
Spoiler.
We're talking about. Tech dying.
Oh.
In season 2, but there's like a character that like could that be Tech that he's just been the Empire got him and
gotcha.
Anyway,
Asajj Ventress did Tech fall into a pool of Night Sister magic?
Yeah.
I didn't see he was like bloop bloop.
Yeah.
No, but this is crazy. It has nothing to do
with anything.
There was a story of a lady that fell out of a plane.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
She landed on an ant pile. And the ant started biting her, and that's how she survived. Because the adrenaline of she survived the fall because the ant started to bite her and attack her.
Whoa! How does that?
True story.
No.
I don't know, guys. Detail.
How do you hit the ground? She survived because the ant bit her.
The ant brought her back to life. CPR. I don't know.
Back to life.
Guys, I heard it on Joe Rogan. It's a real thing.
Are you talking about Ant Sister magic?
Ant Sister, yeah.
That's exactly it. All right, moving on to the next trailer. We got a game trailer here. Ooh. Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
And the full circle?
The circle.
The Great Circle? The Great Circle.
The Great Circle.
I don't like the title of the game.
Full circle.
Okay. Back in the day, we had an Indiana Jones game that was awesome. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. That was one of the greatest games ever made.
Play it. Emulate it.
It's so good. I love that game.
It's a fun one.
But we got a trailer for this new Indiana Jones game. I already know it's going to give me a headache if I try to play it. It looks
first person.
It looks okay. I like the puzzle aspect of it. But I don't know. His voice doesn't sound very close to it. That was throwing me off. I don't know. I don't know if it's a bad taste in my mouth from the last Indiana Jones. It's not. It's It's not a blast for me. It's not completely, but I can't. There's no in between.
There is no.
There's no in between. So for me, it's a trash.
Oh, no!
I'm sorry. Dude. It's going to be up to you guys if you're going to make this a blast.
Fan, bro.
If Mick were here, this would be already a blast.
That's true.
It was his number one movie.
It's his number one game for next year.
That's right. What do you think, Josh, of the trailer?
So I think it looks fun. Like you said, it's not going to be the same as the old school games, but it looks. I mean, the graphics look cool. The CGI is better than the deepfake that we got in.
Was it? No, because I was gonna say the teeth were really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
He was shiny, very shiny too.
The voice actor is Troy Baker, so
I love Troy Baker, but
Troy Baker's in everything, but
he's not in.
He doesn't sound like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, he doesn't do
have a
Harrison
great
Ford.
Nah.
But I mean, it looks fun. I think I would have liked it as third person better.
Like
I saw.
First person, like
I saw the developers say that the reason they wanted that is because of the fighting. There's like Indiana Jones style is so unique. We wanted characters to
more punch oriented.
Yeah, the whipping, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The whipping and the punching.
you know, all that kind of stuff.
Just talking like the Germans.
The whipping. The whipping and the punching.
Chains. Oh, no. Like climbing chains and stuff.
But I think for me, it looks fun. I also, at the end, I don't know if you noticed, it's an Xbox exclusive. So it's trash.
That's too bad.
Hey, we're not even discussing this anymore.
Trash.
That's a majority.
I'm not buying this game.
That's a majority.
Yeah. Well, so I don't get to say
Well, you do, but I'm just saying, I'm going to say it anyways.
Yeah, it's trash.
So.
I'm not buying that game. That game probably has 18 hours of gameplay.
That's
I'm
true.
good, bro. I'm good, low bro.
Is that company any good? Because it's like Machine something.
No, I've never heard of them.
I've never heard of them. So they're basically
it's like Lucasfilm. Never heard of them. Lucasfilm. Never heard of them.
LucasArts Games. No, don't know. Yeah, I think I saw that originally Bethesda was supposed to make it, and then they were basically were like, oh, well, we'll produce it, and you guys, we'll develop, whatever it is, they'll publish it, but obviously this is the developer, and whatever Todd Howard is producing on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what game I saw that the other game they made, and I can't remember which one it was. But yeah,
was it anything of note? Like where you're like, oh,
I do remember saying like, oh, they made that game, but I don't think it was a huge game.
Okay.
We could probably just look it up,
Yeah, it's all good. But yeah, it's interesting because I think a lot of tech companies have been kind of laying off a lot of people. So it's kind of interesting seeing the gaming sphere, I guess, kind of be affected by layoffs and stuff like that. And Microsoft is also a company that's been doing layoffs as well, and Blizzard.
Sports Illustrated as well. That was everywhere.
Oh, really?
They've been laying people off for the past 20 years.
Sports Illustrated?
I know. I'm like, who even gets that magazine anymore?
Okay.
How are they still existing?
Machine Games does the Wolfenstein games.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Changed your tune, huh? It's a blast. It's a blast.
It's not a blast. I'm not a huge fan of Wolfenstein games, but I know there is a lot of people who do like that gameplay. It is pretty cool. Like the guards AI and like there's a lot of puzzles with it and trying to be secretive and stuff like that with Wolfenstein. Sometimes it's just straight up just fight like crazy, but that makes me believe that maybe the combat will actually be pretty good. Even though it didn't look maybe the best, but it looked pretty smooth. Because when they do those trailers, they're all set pieces and they're like, the whip, and then they'll, switch over there. They're trying to be as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
But when you finally get your hands on it, the movement's a big thing. So I thought it would actually be kind of crappy, but maybe it might be good. I don't know. But yeah, I won't buy it. I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan though. So
yeah. That's going to do it for Trash or Blast. Got two blasts and a trash.
Yeah, pretty good.
So it's pretty good. Yeah. We're going to move on to just some random news. Not really organized here. I'll start off with one. We'll just talk a little about James Gunn, and then we'll talk about some other news that we got.
This guy's living rent-free in your mind, bro.
Yep. No, I mean, it's Superman Legacy, DC.
Yeah.
So, actually, there's two things I want to throw out there, but we'll start with one, and then we'll do the other one after we talk about Palworld. But the first one is Supergirl is going to be in Superman Legacy. So this marks the 30th character in Superman Legacy besides 30. Superman.
How many characters are there?
Apparently they're down to two actresses, and Supergirl will be introduced in Superman Legacy. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Like I said, Guy Gardner's in this, Crypto's in it, Metamorpho,
Lex Luthor,
Mr. Incredible,
Mr. Terrific,
Mr. Incredible, crossover, Frozone,
Elastigirl,
Mr. Terrific,
Mr. Terrific. So yeah, there's rumors of the Authority being in it, which is a ton of characters. Anyways, what are you guys' thoughts on this? It seems like this is just becoming like, hey, let's just throw everyone in and hope that they give us more movies.
No, man. He clearly said that he doesn't like just the cameos. Okay?
That's what he said like a month ago.
He said if it serves the purpose of the story, he says he doesn't like cameos just for the sake of cameos. So you better check yourself. All right. As far as Supergirl being in it, honestly, I'm like, okay, whatever. The thing that bums me out the most is I'm like, they're recasting.
Yeah, Sasha Calle was good.
She was good, and I know they're going with. They're like, oh, whatever. She was, black hair, dark skin. They're going for the traditional blonde hair.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, Margot Robbie's going to be cast. So that kind of bums me out because I was like, I thought she did good as Supergirl, and it was a cool story. I'm more bummed out for her. I mean, poor her. She got to get paid to be in that.
Was it her show or a movie got canceled? Was it the movie?
So they were gonna I don't think they had planned to have a movie.
Well, from The Flash, they were supposed to say her story was going to continue.
I thought she was going to have something.
They announced
there were talks about it, but not it never got.
Yeah. Gotcha,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So I think it's just more of a bummer in that way of like, oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But as far as the 30th character in this movie, I'm like, it's going to be a 8-hour movie.
It better,
because according to James Gunn, every character
there's a reason.
Have a plot point or reason for this. That's important to the story, not just like, oh, let me name drop. Oh, there goes Hot Girl. You know what I mean?
They better have minimum 10 minutes of screen time.
Well, the other thing too,
or what? I think they all get kidnapped. They all get kidnapped. Every single character, and he
has to save them all.
Save every single one. That way they're tied to the plot.
Makes sense. It also has to make over, now that they have Supergirl in there, it has to make over $2 billion to break even. That's just the rules now.
Because of Supergirl?
No, well, because back in the day when BVS was coming out, it didn't make $1 billion. So they said a movie with Superman and Batman, even though it made profit and it was one of the highest, almost $900 million. They were like, that's not good enough because it had Batman and Superman. So by that logic, Superman Legacy has to make $2 billion because you got Hot Girl in there, you got a Green Lantern in there, the amount of characters in there. I mean, if it makes $800 million, it's not good enough. Those are the rules.
They better make their money back is what I'm more worried about.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's 2025 though.
Yeah, it's a ways away.
So long. Yeah, I'm gonna forget about it.
I won't let you.
I already did. I know John's like,
I'll bring something up.
Said this time.
You're like James Gunn's little crony, dude. He's always bringing all these news.
Hey, I'm just saying. Hey, that's what the streets are talking about. Hey, I got more DC news after we talk about Palworld. Corey put out a video of him video on our YouTube channel of him playing and kind of talking about it. Why don't you just let the listeners know about Palworld and all the drama with Pokemon and everything that's going on. The world is ending.
Sure, that is something that I didn't really address, and I was like, I'll talk about it at the end of the video. I didn't talk about it.
And you kept calling them Pokemon.
Bro, because I call them Pokemon. Bro, I've grown up with Pokemon. We play it. I say, oh, get your Pokemon out. And then for the video, I'm like, maybe I don't want Pokemon. Maybe I should try not to say Pokemon.
It was great because you'd be like, oh, so you go over here and you see the Pokemon over there. You're like, I'm in pals.
That sounds lame, dude. But yeah, no. So this game is crazy. Like it's been in development for like 4 years, and it came out with early access, and no one really had it on their radar. Like, no one really had it as, oh yeah, it's going to be a huge game in 2024. No, it was one of those games that, you know, it's kind of like how Avatar was when it first came out. It was word of mouth, like, yo, dude, this game's actually really good. And then I'd tell another person that everyone just started being like,
so you started it.
I did it. No.
He was the first pal in Palworld.
I think I started playing it like 2 days after its release. And so, but it's just the quality and the gameplay is just so, it's just a beautiful mixture. I was telling these guys before the podcast that I was like, oh, well, the reason why Fortnite's so good is because it basically takes pieces from other games and perfects it. And, you know, they basically copied PUBG and all these other battle royales, but they take the best things of them and use it in their own game. That's what this game's done. You know, hey, yeah, capturing Pokemon is really cool and fun, and having them battle is really cool. Now there's a survival game called Ark, and they do building and crafting, but you tame dinosaurs like pterodactyls and, you know, T-Rexes and stuff, and you tame them and you can ride them and stuff like that. So they took that, put in their game, you know, breeding and raising the Pokemon, you know, take that from Pokemon and mix it all together. And there you have Palworld. And it's,
do they evolve?
They don't.
Okay.
So yeah,
so it's not Pokemon.
It's different in that. It's more like Ark, I would say. The game is more like Ark than it is Pokemon. The only aspect of Pokemon is the looks of the monsters and like catching them with a ball that magically sucks them in. So
is it called a Pal Ball?
It's called a Pal Sphere.
Oh!
I said that in the video too. I was like, oh, you catch them with the ball? I mean sphere. Same thing, same crap. But this game has instantly become record breaking. I showed on the video, if you didn't watch it, that it was number one on the Steam charts. So for Steam, at least, it was the number one most played game. It had like 1.4 million concurrent. So at that moment when I was looking at it, 1.4 million people were playing, which is nuts. And the high, I can't remember the highest, it was like 1.8 or something like that. But it's just consistently, like, even when I look at like 1 a.m., over 1 million players still. So it's a global hit. And it's not available on PS4, unfortunately, but it's on Xbox Game Pass. So if you're on an Xbox, you can play this game on console. And that's a big contributing factor as well, because if you have Xbox Game Pass, you can play this game for free.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the game's only $25 on PC.
What does early access mean then?
Early access is basically they say, hey, you can't be super mad at me if there's a bunch of bugs of this game because it's not fully ready to be released. So like when Nintendo releases a game, it is ironed out well, most of the time, ironed out as much as it can be. There's this sweet spot with PC games where it's like you can buy in for cheaper, but you accept that the game's going to have bugs.
Okay.
And
they just patch them.
Improve it. And in a year, you're going to have a perfect game.
Do you have to pay again?
Nope.
Okay.
No. And that's what's nice. You get in early cheap, and then I could stop playing tomorrow, play next year, and it's a whole new game. Like,
so early access isn't like beta.
It is kind of.
Yeah, but but not.
But it's way more than beta.
Beta's more like you're invited to play this kind of thing, right?
So
a more limited.
So there's closed beta, open beta.
Okay.
And usually open betas, not early access, open betas are free. So anyone can go play for free and test their game for free. You're doing them a favor.
But you don't keep it, right?
No, it's temporary. Yeah, your character will go away. Closed beta is invite only.
Okay.
And then alpha is even worse.
So early access is you basically get the game
early.
And you're paying a little cheaper just to...
You have to tough it out with the bugs. And there's a lot of bugs with this game. Even in the video, I couldn't get a ball or sphere out of my pocket. I had to relog to fix
You had to
it.
get bigger pockets.
I got a bigger pocket, yeah. But no, this game is incredible. I think if you want to hang out with your buddies and play, super fun to do. Building bases, fighting big bosses, that's cool. My wife likes to play it, so I get to play with her. That's really cool.
They sucked her in with a cute little animal.
They're super cute. Yeah, a lot of those guys are really cute. Yeah, but let's talk about the issue at hand, which is the legal issues. There was a lot of people are like, hey, this is a lot like Pokemon. And here, let me show you. side-by-side comparisons of this dinosaur guy that looks like Pokemon's dinosaur guy. And so you can kind of pair them up. Oh, this guy looks like a fox. Well, they have a fox Pokemon.
Yeah. I saw the one that looked like Eevee.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. A little fox Pokemon. Yeah. So a lot of people, more, because there's a lot of people who are enjoying this game. They sold like, what was it, 9 million? I think they made 9 million. I don't know how many copies that comes to, but they've sold a ton. So a lot of people don't care. They're like, this game's just super fun. But there are some outspoken people who are like, you guys are copying
Pokemon fans.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see, did you guys see any of the images of the pals or
I saw some of
anything on it?
I just saw some of those, like a guy comparing them, like, oh, there's a direct ripoff and like, and stuff like that. And then I just saw that people kept bringing it up until Pokemon put out a statement being like, yeah, hey, Pikachu? We hear ya.
That's funny. Yeah. It's kind of interesting because like they want to bring down this game that's wildly successful. It's kind of weird.
Like the fans do, like the Pokemon fans, not Pokemon.
Yeah.
Not Nintendo.
Pokemon would have been right on them. Like Nintendo is one of the most brutal, cruel.
Yeah, they go after YouTubers.
They go after charities.
Yeah.
Like charity tournaments, like tournaments that raise money for charities, and they shut them down. Like they're brutal.
Let them mess around, bro.
They're cutthroat, but they weren't all over Palworld. The only reason why they're even looking into it is because of people, little snitches. Snitches are saying, hey, Nintendo or Pokemon, you guys need to look into this. They're copying you. And it's funny because...
As they're playing.
Yeah, as they're playing. That'd be funny. But the game's been in development for 4 years. It hasn't been a secret either. They've shown these like, oh my gosh, it's an electric type pal and he's yellow. That's Pikachu. No, like he's just, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's interesting. I don't think they're going to get in trouble at all.
It's weird. The name is a Chikaboo.
Chikaboo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The yellow guy?
Yeah. Instead of Pikachu?
Yeah.
No?
I got it.
That's pretty good, man.
I got it.
But
I did that off the top of my head, guys.
But yeah, no, the game, you can't ignore it. It has so many players. People are enjoying this game so much. It's super fun.
Nice.
And I will say it's Pokemon mixed with Ark Survival mixed with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
A lot of the sound effects, I pointed out kind of the fonts and stuff they were using, very similar. Like they even like have chime effects that are very similar to Breath of the Wild. And just the world's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
it's that type of animation too.
Yeah. It's more cell shaded and it's just gorgeous. So I don't know, man. It's called inspiration for a reason. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel it's hard nowadays. It's hard to get something that's wholly original.
100% original.
Because everything you can go back, like if you're like Warcraft, you're like, oh, orcs, Lord of the Rings, like everything has something that's come out before. Games
like any game that drops down things from the top and you eliminate things is a ripoff of Tetris. So where are we at? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing with movies too. Like the discourse, just to bring up Rebel Moon and being like, oh, it's a copy of Star Wars, it's a copy of Dune, and it's Warhammer, and I'm like, yeah, but Star Wars was a copy of Dune and Flash Gordon, like everything inspiration is the same thing with like music. Like you're like, oh, that band sounds like this band. Is like, okay, yeah, well, you listen to music, you get inspired by it, you have influences. There's nothing that is 100% original because it's been done before. So I just think the thing for me, again, I don't play a lot of video games, but what I have heard is people saying that this is like, why doesn't Pokemon make a game like this? And so they say,
this is the game that everyone's wanted.
Yes. And so that's kind of like, some people are like, well, maybe this gets Nintendo or,
I would love
to make a game that would be around this style and be like, oh, that would kind of work out. So that's kind of the good thing to be like, oh, that's a cool idea. Why don't we do this?
Best case scenario would be, hey, we're looking into your guys' game. Oh, we like how you guys operate because they are a Japanese company. Oh, why don't we just make a game with you guys?
Yeah.
That'd be sick. Like, actually, let's do a Pokemon update. That'd be dope. That'd be really cool.
Because you can just do Yeah, I mean,
easy because they already have.
I feel like you could just add in.
That's never going to happen because they're too. I think they're too prideful to do that. But
unless they buy them out,
that would be sick, dude.
They're like, hey, we like your game here.
That would be awesome.
Get your check and then the name change.
If this game was Pokemon, I think they'd have to change some aspects, like maybe you can't shoot them, and you can also butcher them. It's actually really funny. Oh, kind of. It makes it feel kind of bad, but like. If you have a pal that you don't like, you can get a butcher knife and you go out there and it like censors it.
No, bro, I don't like that.
And then you get meat and leather.
Dude. Palworld. What are you doing?
Someone tricked me into doing it. It's like, oh, dude, it's really funny. And I'm like, okay.
Someone tricked you?
Does it not let you do it or something?
Someone tricked you into killing your own pal.
And so I did. I was like, oh my gosh, I felt so awful, dude.
Yeah, dude, I don't like that. No, bro.
Nintendo about to sue. Because of that.
I hope Nintendo sues them for that. You know what?
Nah, dude, it's all ripoff, dude. Kill them all, bro. Get them out of here.
Yeah, they're not real.
They're not real, bro. They're not real, bro. Pokemon, they're real. I've seen them on my phone.
Pals, not real.
But anyway, yeah, interesting. Kind of the mix-up of the gaming sphere that I didn't expect at all. No one expected.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to move with the next thing. I promised some more DC stuff.
Shenanigans.
There's rumors going around. Rumor mill. There's rumor mill time. I need to have a sound for rumors.
Rumor.
Rumor has it.
Nah, not that
Adele.
one.
Yeah.
No, so there's been like...
There's a rumor going round.
What is that from?
The country song.
Oh, no.
Matt Reeves' Batman 2 has been said to be in development for a while, right?
Oh, right.
And months ago, or like even last year, there was talk about like, oh, well, the script is going to be done, whatever. Well, James Gunn is like, there's no script. Commissioner Gordon, Jeffrey Wright, who plays Commissioner Gordon, he was like, yeah, it's weird. I haven't seen the script yet. I'm just excited. I can't wait to get the script because I'm excited. They've pushed back the start of production 2 different times. So now it's supposed to go into production last year. Then they said beginning of this year. Now it's pushed to summer. So there's people that are like, are they going to cancel the Batman 2 in the Matt Reeves universe?
You shut your stupid mouth right now.
I'm just saying. The reason why it's weird is because...
Why did you speak that?
Matt Reeves originally came out with the Arkham show and said this is going to be awesome because it's going to be characters, like we're just going to build our universe along with the Penguin show. So recently, James Gunn announced that Arkham show is now in his universe. Right?
Dude, the anger that's...
Well, that's what I'm saying. So now,
right now,
there are people...
Who said that?
James Gunn.
He said that where?
On Twitter.
Yeah, they announced it.
He said that this show is now, and when people asked him, he's like, well, it was always supposed to be this way.
No.
And we're like, no, Matt Reeves announced when this was originally announced, it was about his universe.
Yeah.
And now it's changed. So people are wondering if James Gunn has been like, we have our Batman that's going to be in this universe. When James Gunn first came on, he tried to get Matt Reeves' Batman to be his Batman. And Matt Reeves said no. So it's always been like, oh, it's going to be his own thing. So now that it's being delayed and there's no script, which is weird because he went right to work after the Batman on doing the Batman 2.
Yeah, what else is
So what are the chances that they end up just saying, hey, yeah, the Batman's canceled because James Gunn's has his own Batman and we're going to go that way? That's the rumor, guys. I'm just saying. Hopefully that's not the case because that's the only DC property I'm really looking forward to, the Matt Reeves one, because I'm like, let him handle it. It's his thing.
See, I feel like they would be stupid to do that. But then again, we're talking about WB.
They paid J.J. Abrams $250 million to make 0 movies.
When you told me that, I was like, no way. That's crazy. What a smart dude.
Yeah, dude. If this happens, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be so mad. James Gunn will be I'll be like you with James Gunn. In random conversations, I'll be like, have you heard what James Gunn has done? Do you know who that is? I don't care.
Yeah.
He's a terrible human being.
Yeah.
Almost like Hitler. I put him up on the...
That's crazy. 1
and 2. Right there.
If he does that.
Yeah, if he does that. If not, he's just a guy. I'm like, whatever.
In a video game. Yeah. Just say that and you're fine. That's interesting. People will be like, I'm gonna kill myself in a video game. So they're okay. I don't think they will. I don't think this. Okay. I think this is the only thing that's been making great money. They would be really stupid if they did this. They'd be like burning money. It'd be like throwing money in a dumpster and lighting it on fire.
But they've done that. They gave J.J. Abrams $250 million. They undercut the movies that were coming out.
No, I understand. But this is recent. Record. This is recent, and it's their only movie that's been good. So
yeah,
I think it's unlikely that they do it. But yeah, of course, obviously it's WB. I mean, it's obviously on the tables still.
Yeah, and they're the
James
same.
Gunn, I don't know, man. James Gunn, for me, the more I hear about him, the more I'm just thinking, man, this guy's so prideful. I don't think he wants to be outshined by anyone else. I think he wants to get rid of the competition, and I think he wants to move in. Look at my movie's the best. Well, that's because you got rid of the other ones.
He's also like a spurned lover. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
he's like, oh, I've had my eye on you for a while. Yeah. And Matt Reeves is like, bro, I would never date you.
Yeah.
He's like, what did you say? Are you kidding me?
The thing, so there's big,
yeah, because he can't have him.
Then he knifes him.
Yeah, he can't have him. So
there was a guy on Twitter that was talking about. So when
just a random guy?
Yes, a random guy.
Crazy, dude. Okay, talk to me.
If you know anything about what happens on the social media, the Twitter sphere of DC, so there's the big Snyder group.
Do you know what happens?
And then
when Snyder faction.
Well, here when Matt Reeves Batman came out, it was like the Snyder group. Some of the Snyder group were like, no, we can't have that Batman because it had to be Ben Affleck's Batman, right?
The truthers.
So there was some fighting there. Yeah. But then the guy was like, can you imagine if James Gunn comes in and cancels the Matt Reeves Batman? He's like, we'll have the Matt Reeves united with the Snyder.
It'll unite the nations.
and go at James Gunn.
And then Netflix comes in and they're like,
Snyders and the Reavers, dude.
The Batman and the Snyder cut.
Yeah. The Reavers and the Snyders, dude.
It's just kind of crazy. But I do agree a little bit with what you guys are saying, like not a little bit, a lot of it, with how it seems like James Gunn runs the studio as if it's like, hey, I'm doing this to make my name bigger and I don't want to have any competition. Because him constantly being on Twitter and talking to fans that have seriously like one follower, like it's the weirdest thing.
Those are plants.
That's interesting. There was one, I wish I would have screenshot it. There was a guy that's like, hey, James Gunn, have you ever seen the movie? And he mentions
Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it's like some weird niche movie. And he's like, what you're talking about sounds kind of like that. Is that what you're thinking for Superman Legacy? And James Gunn responds to him. He's like, you nailed it. Right on. That's exactly what we're thinking about. And I was like, how did this, what? Like he wrote that out and then responded to it. But it's just so weird to have a guy that's like constantly on Twitter talking to people, but then the decisions he's made,
you mean talking to himself?
The notes that he gave, like the Flash, the reshoots, like, hey, you know what you should have? George Clooney show up to end the movie. That
was weird, man.
Like that's weird.
That was so weird.
The Dolph Lundgren, who was in the first Aquaman, who's Mara's dad, he came out and he's like, the first movie they did, he's like, I want to see that. That movie was awesome. He's like, and then they came in and did a bunch of reshoots, and he's like, I don't know why they had to change it. Cut. But to me, it makes me wonder, like, did he torpedo these movies to be like, the box office is so bad when his Superman Legacy comes out, he's like, hey, we made $700 million. The hierarchy in DC is about to change.
I don't know. I mean, this is it's kind of rough because I don't know the guy, right? I just have to make assumptions based on his previous actions, but it's like, I think he thinks he's like so smart. And so he's got his finger on the pulse of what people like. I think that's really what it is. I think he thinks he knows what people want to see. And so he's like that confident that he's like, no, we're changing this. That's what I think. Yeah. To be so nefarious would be quite the thing, and I don't think we'd ever find out the truth of that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
Crazy.
You never really know people. I don't even know the dude, so who knows? That's too bad.
It is nuts. Is there anything else? Any other news that we had? I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of layoffs in the entertainment area. It's interesting. Riot Games, Microsoft, EA, and Blizzard, among others.
Yeah.
A lot of like 10% layoffs, like of their whole.
That's crazy.
So, because I have a lot of old coworkers who work for Riot or for Blizzard and stuff like that, and so kind of seeing that on my feed in the past like couple days, it's been kind of interesting and it's sad. Also, it's just like the economy's rough, man.
Yeah,
it's tough out there. So, big companies are trying to cut fat and try to slim down as much as they can. So, it's rough.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I just thought of something. The Oscars came out, and there's a big hoopla.
People are upset.
People are upset. People are angry.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm going to address it.
I'm not the guy for this.
I'm going to address it. So, we had some snubs. Every year, there's snubs, Oscar snubs.
Snubs or snobs?
Snubs. Like someone that didn't get nominated. Like, they snubbed them.
Snubbed.
Okay.
So this year,
and
Margot Robbie was not nominated for Best Actress, which
after
for Barbie. And Greta Gerwig, the director, was not nominated for Best Director.
Who were Best Actress? Who beat her out?
I don't have the list with me.
Okay.
But how it works is she's been nominated at Golden Globes and all this other stuff, but she hasn't won.
It was Oscars.
And the Oscars, I think you have less people nominated. I think you have 5, right? Mm-hmm. Anyways, so there's all these people out there that are saying like she didn't get, she got snubbed, and the Barbie movie was such a phenomenon and all this kind of stuff. Here's the reality. Everybody gets snubbed at some point. I don't think that the Barbie movie, like in the grand scheme of things, she wasn't going to win. She wasn't going to win there's no way she wins an Oscar for the Barbie movie.
So why do they nominate 5 people?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The thing is, it's not just one person picking. Like they have all these people that pick the nominees. So it's not just like one person's like, these five. So a lot of people, out of a consensus of a group of people, decided that she wasn't going to get nominated. And there's this whole idea that it's kind of like, oh, well, it's because she's a woman. But I'm like, well, the Best Director, there was another woman that was nominated for Best Director. Christopher Nolan got nominated for Best Picture, but not for Best Director for what? It was Dunkirk, or was it Inception? So it's happened before to men as well. So I just think it's just par for the course for the Oscars. Like there's always going to be somebody that's left off. But the reality is it's a group of people that vote on it. It's not just like one person.
It's a huge amount. It's over 9,000 people.
And so to me, that's where you can't just be like, oh, well, they just didn't like her.
It's not just 20 dudes,
right,
or whatever.
And one of the actors, the guy that plays Shang-Chi, he's in the movie. His quote was, well, me being a little part of the movie and seeing how much they loved what they did and all the effort they put in, like, it's really disheartening to see that they didn't get nominated. I was like, well, yeah, you don't think the other women nominated didn't put in work in the movies they were doing? So it's just kind of a weird, like, this happens every year. Someone doesn't get nominated. Now, if Christopher Nolan doesn't win, now we get angry, right? And we march and we riot, because that's something worth getting angry. But a nomination,
be surprised if he didn't win Best Director.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he doesn't win,
he will.
That's something to get upset about. But Margot Robbie not being nominated, I think she'll be okay.
That's a travesty.
I think she made plenty of money.
What? The only thing I will say, what was?
You want to hear what I want to say?
Yeah. What are you gonna say?
Don't care.
It's so dumb. It's a popularity contest with.
Yeah.
It's stupid, but yeah.
And it just the amount of people getting so angry about it. I'm like, there's other things going on in the world. It's not that big of a deal.
Where's the list
First
of
world problems?
Scores?
Scores? Like music scores or number
like
scores?
John Williams got nominated again.
Well, so that's the thing. I'm like, the Daniel Pemberton should have been nominated for Across the Spider-Verse.
And he didn't?
No.
They gave one to put John Williams in there?
They gave one to John Williams is the GOAT, okay?
Best sound?
I'm just going to say
sound,
that.
Right?
Yeah, just score, is what it's called. But Dial of Destiny?
Oh, really?
That one got nominated?
Yeah.
I guess he did do it.
Yeah.
That's just give it to John Williams.
Just Johnny Williams getting his.
And that's why he's not the GOAT. Because how many nominations have he gotten just because for pity?
Right, just because he's great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's
Hans Zimmer.
I didn't see Hans Zimmer. But anyway, I'm like, man, they should have
It's a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Always.
That's going to do it for the news. We are going to, the last part of the show, we finished Echo. And so we are going to give our thoughts on the Marvel series Echo. Full spoilers if you have not seen it.
Oh my gosh, spoilers.
But yeah, we talked about the first 2 episodes last week. We're going to finish with the last 3. I felt it got worse and worse as it went along for me. I felt like it started off, I was like, okay. And then it just got worse. I don't know. You mentioned something last week, I think from the 3rd episode.
I had watched the 3rd episode. I figured that out.
And so when I saw it, I agree 100% with you. I'm like, why is this the only one that's in black and white and the silent film?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. No wonder you guys didn't have a.
Yeah, we were like,
oh man, I thought you guys were being dicks to me. I was like, man, these guys. All right, whatever.
I'll
just say what I say
because they had shown a clip of her, and I was like,
that's my bad. My bad.
But yeah, I was like, why? What?
It was weird.
And
wasn't it weird?
I also felt like it wasn't. If you're gonna go silent film, you got to go full silent film and have the piano.
But it was weird.
It was weird, and every time I laughed too. In the scene when she's like, I think in the roller skating rink and she's doing all this stuff, they're like showing her ancestor like shooting stuff, and then she grabs the ski balls and it shows her ancestor like throwing a stick, and then she throws the ski. I'm like, oh really? Okay, so her ancestor was really good at throwing sticks.
Good aim, bro.
So now that's the power we got. So ski ball throw. Oh, like
it's called accuracy.
It just felt like kind of goofy how it was done.
All your rumors,
especially going back into like the silent film, like black and white. I was like, why did they? It seemed weird that they decided to do that because everyone else was like, in
high definition fidelity.
Yeah. So it was a weird thing.
The most ancient one was so clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I think it was just this would be a cool thing to do a silent film kind of stuff. I thought it looked good in black and white. Like if they would have just done black and white without the silent film stuff, I would probably have been liked it more. Or it just seemed out of place. Like I don't think there was a reason to do it.
No, they did it because they wanted to do it.
It'll be cool.
Someone was like, "Oh, that'd be fun."
Yeah.
And they did it.
So I do agree. I was kind of like, oh, okay.
Like I understand wanting to okay, we've got a lot of different time frames that we're having to cut through. How do we make them different? I get that, but that's not the play. I think there's other ways to do that.
So they did something similar in the WandaVision show, where each episode was a different sitcom era,
and they shot it like that.
No, that was smart and super good.
Right, but that was specific to what was happening and related,
and it
to
was
the
consistent.
Story.
Yeah,
and this was good. This was like, hey,
randomly in the 3rd episode. Yeah,
I love. That's why I like WandaVision because it was just a smart. It was at least unique,
right? And that's what I'm saying is it was based on the story and for a purposeful. Where this was just kind of it just seems like, let's. Someone wanted to. They're like, oh, it's in a Western. What if it was a silent film?
Well, and the lack of color was directly representative of how much she wasn't aware of the situation. And the more she was aware of the situation, the more color came in. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
It was cool. Like the way they
you're
did
playing with it.
As it got old, as it got
there's
newer
a reason
and newer,
for it.
Yeah, there was purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, I think my biggest issue is the main character itself. I had a hard time. There's a specific moment that I was like, I don't know he beats up the ice cream dude, right? And then she sees it and she comes and kicks him.
Was it ice cream?
Yeah.
Oh, in New York?
Yeah. And then she kicks him. And then you have these shots of like, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's murdering people. Like he murders the translator, all this stuff. She knows that stuff's happening. Mm-hmm. And then, so that's like, okay, so she's been doing some pretty despicable things. Like she's been murdering people, probably innocent people too, because this guy kills random people. And then in the final episode, her mom shows up, right? They do the whole thing with like, we don't hurt people, right? She hurts the bird. And then her mom to have that moment with her and she's like, you've just been hurting. Let me take that. Like, now you're not hurting anymore. To me, I was like, yeah, but you've killed a ton of people. You've been a bad person. Like even her grandma. No, but I'm saying like, what makes it.
No redemption here.
No
redemption.
What I'm saying is
Vader? Sorry, bro.
No, what I'm saying is to make it, there's a difference to make a character where it didn't seem, to me, there didn't seem like there was any remorse with her. And that was I was like, okay, it's just kind of like, let me put the suit on and I saved people and now, okay, we're good. To me, that was just like, you've done some pretty terrible things. That was my biggest problem is I was like, I didn't resonate with the character as much because I was more focused on like, she's done some really bad things. And it's kind of just like, hey, you've been hurting. So it's okay. It's okay that you murdered a bunch of people. It's rough. The difference with Vader is he dies at the end. And there's that aspect. Again, I'm more of a Star Wars fan. So yeah, of course it's going to land better with me. I've just learned who this character is basically. So there's probably a bias there. But to me, that's watching it. It just felt like it wasn't done in a way where I was like, okay, I agree with her redemption. It just felt like it was done really quickly and not in a meaningful way for me.
Well, I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. I think that when you lose your parent and then both your parents, things are pretty crazy.
Cray.
And so I understand that like it's tough because it's like, yeah, she did terrible things. She's killed people. But she cried, in that moment with her mom, whether it's, oh, I get to see you again, or maybe she's realizing that bad stuff. Who knows? I mean, you don't know what she's thinking. I think it comes down to her acting. And so I think her acting could be a little bit improved. I think she was very, because if you can't talk, right, it's got to be all here.
Yeah,
and she was very stern all the time.
Yeah.
And for me, in that moment, she needed to be a lot softer, or she needed a break, right, for you to really connect with her. And I think that was a key moment that they kind of lost me. Because, like, if you're seeing your mom and you haven't seen her for your whole life, basically, like she lost her when she was like 6 or whatever, or 8, I'd be done. Like, personally, yeah, she cried, but like, oof, like it'd be like game changing, right? But yeah, I do agree with you. It's hard to believe. It like the believable aspect is tough there, but I mean, yeah, it's hard because you get indoctrinated by this evil guy when you're just a kid. So it's like, it's kind of tough to blame her because she was just a kid being taught that it's okay to avenge and kill. So I don't know. It's a little bit more gray, I think, than you're looking at it a little bit. But you only have how many episodes? 5 to make all this movement. I think you're right. I don't think she's redeemed or anything. I think she has yet to redeem herself personally, because there's just not enough time to do all that work.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how I felt too. It was like more of like I'm taking the steps.
This is the first step. Yeah,
not like, hey, we're all good now.
Yeah. Like
forget about everything that I did before.
Right.
It's more of a, well, I've been doing these things for a specific reason, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I think she was kind of pretty like one note, I guess, in a lot of the show. But I thought there's a specific scenes that I think were good when she has her conversation with her grandma. I thought that was really good.
That was not bad. Yeah.
And just kind of seeing her, like, obviously, like, talking about how her grandma hurt her. Like, I was a kid and I needed you, and you kind of abandoned me, basically.
Yeah. I think that was
I thought that was a really good scene, and I actually really liked the scene with her mom, where she sees her again, and they have that conversation.
I think her mom did really well. Like, her mom did really good in that, like the actress or whatever. Yeah,
I mean, I could see her wanting a little bit more out of her in that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I bought into her journey, I guess, of being accepted into for one, her culture, and then also like her generations and stuff like that, and kind of accepting. I also really like the stuff with Kingpin, of her being like, instead of being like, I'm going to kill you, being like, I want to help you.
At the end.
Right. I thought that was a cool way to do it. That was
the best scene.
Where she's saying like, hey, let go of the pain, kind of a thing. With the hammer. And that scene, I thought that was really done really well. And it kind of gets away from the typical, like, we're just going to beat up Kingpin until he, you know what I mean? So it was a nice change of pace, but I thought that was really well done. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think it's tough because, I always say this when we're talking about stuff, but I have to really like the main character to like a show. That's just one of the first things that I need. And so it was just hard. Like, I liked some of the quirky, like, aspects of it that was really creative with her being deaf and everything. That was creative and cool. Like, the heartbeat aspect of everything and kind of, them being in this powwow and they're like, doing all this cool stuff. And then goes to her and she can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Like, she could just feel the rumble of the ground maybe. And maybe the drums, feel, but it's cool to kind of.
When she was sneaking in, she had to keep the beat and not know.
She's like looking. She's like, how do I? Yeah, that would suck, dude. Because like when I was watching, I was like, man, that would be really tough, man. Frick. But when we were talking about being creative and being unique, that's the aspect of the show that I thought was cool.
Yeah,
because you really don't see that except in silent films, but it's kind of an interesting aspect. Seeing different point of views and stuff like that. So. If anything, I thought that was cool. I think the show was interesting in that aspect, showing the side of being deaf and trying to traverse life that way. What did you guys think about that, like, contact he gave her, that, like, give the ghost arm signing? Like, what did you guys think about that? Yeah, what did you guys think about that? Because I thought it was kind of like a dead end, like, what was the point kind of a thing. Like, I get he's trying to, like, make a gesture towards her, but like, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I just feel like it was like, hey, we need a way to
without a translator.
How are we gonna make it? Because he needs a translator.
It's like a plot device.
Yeah. So to me, it just felt like that. Like, we need something. It's kind of cool. That way you can still hear the translation. Like, you can hear it in his ear, and
Yeah.
But so it does play into the story, though, because she says later, she's like,
you never bothered
to learn to sign.
Right.
So it's like basically showing that he's like, for all the care that he really has, he doesn't really care. He's just like, oh, I'm a billionaire or whatever.
Right.
Here's some cool
technology. I'll buy my way.
Right.
Yeah, I'll buy my way through it. I won't actually work hard.
I thought that was interesting from that perspective.
Okay.
And it was cool to sit in her, like they've done a lot in the show, is like you sit in her POV of like, I'm looking at someone that's signing. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like, when are they going to invent that?
I know, that's pretty sweet.
And then she just threw it away. That's the one thought I had. I was like, you're not going to sell that thing.
How much money do you think that sells
like
for?
$1 million contact.
That's why she's not my favorite character. Not redeemable.
Wasteful.
Yeah, wasteful. Wow. How dare she? How dare she?
There were a few things. I got a little PTSD from Blue Beetle, seeing the grandma beat up people. I was like,
I actually didn't have a problem with it.
No, I'm saying
I didn't have a problem.
It was just like, it would have been. I was expecting her to like then start beating. She just took two guys out.
Yeah, she just did a couple.
And that's what they did.
I was like, okay,
that was smart. It was like, okay, we're getting the whole. They're connected.
Yeah.
They'll take out two guys, and then you don't. Yeah, because if it was Blue Beetle, she would have been like, now it's time to really show you what I'm made of. And she would beat like 30 dudes up.
Yeah. So there was that. There were a few things. Again, these are all going to be nitpicks. I should have a sound for nitpicks.
Yeah,
but there's
if
certain
you could do
things.
that'd be great. Thank you.
There were certain things that I just that I don't know. It's the little like Book of Boba Fett spin shot that you're just like, that was silly,
unnecessary things.
like things that I was like, that's the choice you decided to do.
Well,
there was one
in this one?
So the one example that I have is
the monster cart
at the end,
monster truck rally. I love that.
At the end of I think the best scene is when she goes into his mind and he's seeing like his father be abusive. When he pops out of that, he's like, oh, and there's a guy that comes up with him and he has a gun and he's pointing it right at her. Right. And I'm like one of his goons. And it was just like, why don't you just shoot her? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she just beat everybody up. It's just that kind of stuff, that his reaction. And then the next scene is just him getting in the car and driving off. And I'm like, it just felt like, how are we going to end this? It just felt sloppy the way it ended. Like it was like, there could have been a better way. And it also is the other guy. He has the rocket launcher. So these are like right back to back. He has a rocket launcher. He's about to shoot. And instead of shooting, he goes, huh? Like notices the guy that's pointing at him. I was like, I'll just shoot. Instead of going like, hey, what's going on down there? Like, you know, like,
hey, you gotta be aware.
And then he gets shot. It was just a weird, like, it was just, I was like, why make that choice? Instead, like, they should have just had him about to pull the trigger and he just gets shot.
Yeah.
But it was more like let me stop.
Because they also
what?
did
Double take.
He winked at him too. Was like the guy that shot him was like gave him a little wink. So it was like
before he shot.
I'm like, he has a rocket launcher. Like he could have just shot all the Indians there. Like, and he's a bad guy, so he's like, oh, I'm not going. You're gonna take me out, but I'm gonna shoot before I do. You know, like. It just
maybe he values his life more than that.
I mean,
didn't he lose it no matter what?
Yeah.
Well.
So it was just those little things that, again, those are nitpicks. Like someone listening to this will be like, really? That's
yeah.
Again, there's just a nitpick. I thought it was decent, but there was just those things that I was like,
if you get a lot of scenes or parts of scenes that aren't believable and you stack them up, if you have like 100 scenes that aren't believable, guess what? The whole show isn't. As believable, right? It just all adds up.
And it should have had more biscuits. I feel like
that's true. Biscuits kind of did fall off.
Biscuits started strong.
I wish he would have got some of the power. That would have been dope. Did have a sick orange Billy Jack or whatever?
Yeah,
Billy Jack getting the power.
There's no Billy Jack.
You said when Crystal was excited because when he was like. He's like, do you have a gun or anything? He's like, yeah, I got just the thing. Crystal's like, Billy Jack's coming in, baby. Let's go.
I thought Billy Jack was going to be driving the monster truck.
He said, do you have a gun? He said, no, I got something better.
Billy Jack.
Billy Jack's
dope, dude.
Especially when the grandpa can like make sick leg stuff.
It's true.
Like sick out of metal. Oh, like maybe Billy Jack would have like spears, like
he looks like a unicorn. He
just goes after people.
He's got a blade on the end of his head.
We needed more biscuits and more Billy Jack.
Oh, 100%.
And then maybe this would be higher on my. But I was like, no.
I do think it suffers a little bit of like, the climax of like, oh, what's gonna happen was kind of like a little anticlimactic.
There was like 4 scenes of her sneaking in, like in the group. It would go to something else and then go back to her, and she's just like, and then go back to someone else. Like, see the guy, and then go back to her, and she's like,
but this is your same complaint about Andor, so I can't take you seriously. I can't take you seriously.
When a season
just a bunch of people walking.
No.
That's the season finale.
No. But when the season finale is the shortest episode, it's 34 minutes. And then you have a scene that you're like, you've already established that she's sneaking in that way. To me, that was
people. You need to see what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, but to me, it was like the same shot.
You got 6 characters you got to focus on.
It was the same shot, and so I was like, you could have. It just felt like it was dragging with the same shot. Show me something else. Give me something else. But it was like
they showed you another person.
Yeah, but then they go back to her being like
getting the bullets out,
being like this, and then the same exact shot again.
Bro,
doing this.
She wasn't even really.
I started looking at the characters around her. Like the girl next to her was like smiling super hot. And I was like, hey, I like that smile, because I was like, nothing else is going on here. She's just like, hey, you know, interesting.
Yeah, I was, I had subtitles on, and it was like the Lightning Boys or something like that. That was the name of them. I was like, that's a dope name. We made the wrong podcast name. We should have been the lightning boys.
Other interesting choice. They throughout like the whole show, they had like I guess Native American music. And then in the big like moment where they're figuring out like the big emotional moment, they have I think Alison Krauss, you know, that's like that's the song.
How's it go?
Sing it. When I go to the rivers, you know that? And I was like, it's strange to me because that song is like talking to the Lord, right? And this whole it just felt weird because the whole show is about like the ancestors and this whole aspect of
aliens,
you know, this whole aspect of like it's the nature and all this kind of stuff. And then you have a song that's more geared towards like God and more like faith aspect of it. It just felt like a weird song to fit in there. Does that make sense? Like it immediately hit me like, why do they pick that? Like I stopped looking at what was going on and was like, I wonder why they chose that song.
You don't think Native people believe in the Lord?
Well, I think they believe in many gods, the spirit gods and sun gods and all this kind of stuff.
Because they were already in church, if you remember correctly.
Well, yeah,
Biscuits was there singing the hymns with his grandma.
Yeah, but it could have been a song. But what I'm saying is the whole aspect of what we've seen with this character is about ancestors. It was just, to me, it was a strange choice. I like that song, but I was like, why choose that? It was an interesting choice for me. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I was like, instead of being like, that's a good song, it was more like, why did they choose this song? Because it was like, it's like in Red Dead Redemption, right? When you're Red Dead Redemption 2, when you hit a certain part and the song hits, there's a reason that song is hitting.
The song.
When you're going back, like, and the words, hit. This one, I don't know. For me, it was like I was scratching my head a little bit. Again, just a preference thing, but
no, for sure.
I thought it was interesting.
It's like the same idea when like I look at logos. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe why did they make this logo the way it is?
Yeah,
it's because it's a specialty that I have in life, and so I'm very sensitive to things like that. And same with you with music. You're gonna like, because I didn't get taken out of it with that song. I actually liked the song.
Well, I really liked the song.
Well, like,
but to me, it was
I still liked it in the moment.
I feel like there were some. I don't know. To me,
I think. Well, here's the thing. I think in that situation, though, it's thematically appropriate because I think it happens after she has her issue with her grandma, right? After they have the conversation. So you're talking about setting aside differences. You know what I mean? Like coming down before the Lord, you know what I mean? Offering things up. I understand I think you're getting caught up into the, like, oh, what is she? They're talking about ancestors in this case, but I think it's more of the thematic idea behind.
Yeah, I get that, but I just feel like there could have been I don't know. It's just, that song is so religious, I guess, if I was like that. That song connects.
What was the song name?
Connects a certain way. Does that make sense?
You know what the song was?
I can't remember what it's called.
Okay. Who did it?
As I go down to the river, pray.
Okay, cool.
You can look up.
You're good.
Echo.
I'm sure I'll get
river.
I got it already.
So it just, I don't know. To me, it just was. My immediately thought was like, that's interesting. I like that. I really like that song, but it's just
about family too.
It just felt like
mothers, fathers.
It just felt like it wasn't in the. I don't know, but I could be totally wrong. It's just my preference thing.
I feel like also when it comes to maybe non-believers, when there's kind of religious songs, they kind of generalize it a lot, and so maybe they're more okay with it just being like, oh, general Lord or whatever.
Yeah, I guess maybe the more so what I'm talking about is the aspect that there was a lot of music that was Native American that was even in the dialect I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm. I think they needed to change it.
It was strange to me that they've been doing that and then they went that route. You know what I'm saying? I was like, the show is really like hits hard that aspect of like the Native American culture and their ancestry and all that kind of stuff, and them kind of being basically overrun by bad people, right? They mention it constantly, like, oh, there's a group of stranger people that we don't know. Like all the aspects, seeing the ancestors, was always another tribe or another group of people or white people coming in and disrupting stuff, right? And now it's the same thing. Fisk is coming in and disrupting their lives, right? Their lands. And so it just felt like like that's been the whole point. And then in the biggest moment, it just was interesting to me that was the choice. I'm not saying it was a bad choice, but it made me think of that choice instead of watching. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's a fair critique.
Well, I liked it.
And that's
whatever that other song
I liked it too. I think it's a fair critique. Yeah.
What was in the dialect I thought was a really cool song. Like no idea what they're saying.
Yeah.
But it was like it sounded really cool.
And here's another thing too. The intro. To me, it's like you had a perfect opportunity instead of having someone singing in English. You have someone. You can do that same song, but have it in that dialect.
And have subtitles.
That to me was like
super cool.
That was another weird choice. I'm like, I feel like that was just kind of like, oh, just do that song. Like, the thought wasn't put into those things. Anyways, but what do you guys think? What would you give this a rating so that we can?
I think I'm still in the 6s. I think I'm maybe 6.5. For overall, a little short. I think there's some acting issues for me personally, and I think I wanted to see maybe some more of certain characters and less of other characters, and a little bit of briefness of some story beats.
Yeah.
I actually really liked it. So I think I was around a 7. I think I'm at a solid 8 for the show.
Wow.
I actually really enjoyed it.
That's good.
I don't think
That's really high.
All the character actors, the side characters are good.
If we remove the blue healer,
Billy Jack, no change. I'm not Crystal.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No change. Yeah, Billy Jack.
Are you being honest with us?
Makes no difference.
Are you being honest with us?
100%. But yeah, I just a lot of the other characters I thought were really good. I mean, I think this is what
I like. The grandpa. I like the
grandpa was good.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, I think it's a solid 8. There were. Nice. I mean, honestly, it's a lot better than a lot of the other Marvel shows. Like Secret Invasion? Nah, bro.
Oh, yeah, no way. This is way better than Secret Invasion.
And you're like the aspect that you talked about, Corey, it was good to see like a different take on things.
Yeah.
To see them weave in the
maybe
Native American,
a 7 from me.
The Native American culture. I thought that was cool.
Shoot.
Hey, you're Native American.
We are Native Americans.
That's right.
Yeah, but I didn't want to,
What? What, you didn't want to
be a part of it?
Why? Are you ashamed of us? What the heck? We're native, dog.
When they were doing
quite a bit.
When they were doing the powwow, like I remember when they were doing the powwow. For some reason, I remember Dad graduating from somewhere, the Falls, and they had some Native Americans come in and do that.
Yeah,
that was the longest graduation ever.
That's crazy. He went to graduation. That's hilarious. I did not go. That's funny.
You might have been there.
I was there. Oh, okay. I remember it. And there was a lot of native representation over there. Yeah.
Anyways, Spokane. I give it a 7.
All the buildings are named after different like tribes and stuff like that. It's actually sick.
Is it one that named Echo? Or Chafa?
That's not a tribe.
Or Cholula?
That's not a tribe.
Cholula. That's called Chalupa. Yummy.
Yeah, I give it a 7. Probably.
Ooh, I want to give it a 7.
Sure.
I'd give it a 7.
Yeah.
Because of that aspect. Thanks for using my own thing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was smart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
It's at least interesting to watch. You know what I mean? Interesting to watch and cool to see a different.
Yeah, you're right.
Different variety.
And when you put it up against things like Secret Invasion, you're just like, oh, this at least deserves a 7.
I don't think it needed to be MA.
No.
Oh, I agree.
I'm like, didn't. There was there was stuff that I was like, yeah, okay. When the guy gets shot and he's like spitting up blood, I was like, that was just kind of like, hey, we need to do something here.
Yeah.
I was like, it wasn't necessary.
It doesn't fit the character.
She
killed a lot, but like, They didn't really show it.
Yeah, it was just more like when he beats up the ice cream dude and there's the blood everywhere. But I was like, that was unnecessary. You could have had that scene without showing it. So to me, it was more like a gimmick to be like, ooh, we're doing our first MA show.
I think it was more honestly for them to be like, let's differentiate from, because they're like, oh, it's Marvel Spotlight. So they're like, we want to make sure that we're different from.
That makes sense. Okay. That's going to do it for our Echo discussion. 8, 7, and 7. Let us know if you watched it, what you thought. If you're interested in watching it, go watch it. I think it's worth a shot. It's 5 episodes and it's pretty short. So
we only spoiled it a little bit.
Yeah,
go back and watch it. See if we're even accurate.
You might come back and be like, man, their ideas were stupid. Jonah's an idiot. Which I hear that a lot, but that'll do it for this week for the Nerd Age Podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube. We're everywhere, and we're only getting bigger. Whoa. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with more Nerd Age Podcast. See you later.
See ya.